it's quite important the way that you would like to run these products through the provinces, making sure that you have a tremendous support. Welfare has already recognized 13 provinces to basically go mobile. That has not happened yet on the sports side, but sports is working very much more of a systemized approach nationwide in order to be able to allow this form of distribution through at least one channel, but they will likely give 4 to 6 licenses over the next 12 months.
Let's now go across the Pacific and from an area, a region where there's some uncertainty and some reservations, I would say, in relation to online gaming, to the United States, where it has been in the news for many reasons recently. And my question to Bob is, what is the update in terms of how the online gaming is making progress throughout the United States?
Let me start by a general observation that in a way is obvious, but I don't think people reflect on it enough. There are really 5 stakeholders in gaming, whether it be land-based or internet gaming. Internet gaming is more complicated because it's ephemeral in the sense that for land-based, I mean, we're in this big building, you can see the building, you can see the people, you can see everybody, you meet with all the individuals who are really running the operation. Whereas in the internet, it's, yes, there are people there, but you're not seeing them on a day-to-day basis. And you have machines, you have servers and everything else that are involved in it. And so therefore, psychologically, internet gaming is viewed very differently, even though in many respects it actually can provide much more detailed information than you can get out of a land-based operation. But there are, my view is that there are 5 stakeholders in gaming. Those stakers are, first of all, the government. And by government, it can be a government of a country, it can be a government of a state or a province, states and provinces in North America. Then you have the politicians, and I refer to them as the political class. These individuals usually are the individuals that are charged with drafting the legislation. And the great irony is that they are the group of individuals that have the least understanding of the gaming business and how it runs. The third group are the regulators. And the regulators are not 100%, but the vast majority of the regulators are former cops. Usually with at least 20 years experience in law enforcement, and also usually having worked a lot in organized crime areas. And as a result, and these are the people that are doing the investigations, and when you've been a cop for 20 years and have basically had 20 years of experience of everybody lying to you, then you're coming to an industry that they automatically presume, because of historical events, is a questionable industry, i.e. gaming. Then they really adopt many, until they learn the business, they adopt the attitude that you're guilty until proven innocent in connection with any kind of regulatory oversight. And that's a very significant thing, and it's particularly significant, I think, in connection with the internet, because the internet started out mainly as a gray industry throughout the world. But it's transforming now. If you look at who is getting involved in the internet today, it's most, not all, but most of the major land-based casino operators, as well as all of the major international gaming equipment manufacturers they're developing all kinds of software and everything. And then finally, the 5th stakeholder is the public, and the focus there is not having embarrassing events, not having people go bankrupt, not having underage individuals involved in gaming, no money laundering, concern about money laundering, et cetera. And so that's a very volatile mix. And in the U.S., that's all come to a head. My observation is, first, that in Europe, gaming, internet gaming, the train has left the station. Most of the European countries have adopted some form of iGaming legislation, and they have iGaming operations up and running. And so they have a lot of practical experience. And within that context, there's plenty of software that deals with geographic location identification, confirmation of where people are, confirmation of whether or not you're dealing with someone who is of the proper age, and also confirmation methods to confirm where the money's coming from. So those are not the big issues anymore. It's more the regulatory aspect of how you run this, where the servers are, et cetera. Now in the U.S., it's still illegal at the federal level. But as a result of an interpretation of the Justice Department of the Wire Act, the practical reality today is that intrastate, in other words, gaming, internet gaming just within a specific state, is legal, and as a result, Nevada has adopted intrastate legislation, and they're up and running. They've licensed, they're running poker operations strictly limited to poker. New Jersey, on the other hand, has also adopted legislation, but it is intrastate gaming that runs through the casinos and covers all aspects of gaming other than sports books. And then finally, the state of Delaware has adopted this, and it is strictly poker, but it's a very small operation. About 10 other states, Illinois has also adopted a statute, but it's focused on the lottery. There are about 10 other states that are in the process of looking at and adopting legislation. Most certainly the largest state in this area is California. And, but a whole bunch of other large states are also looking at it. At the federal level, we're not going to see any kind of legislation anytime soon, except there is an effort that's backed by Adelson, of course the owner of this property, all the Sands properties. Sheldon Adelson is a very active opponent of internet gaming, and he has supported legislation that's in the hopper in Washington that would amend the Wire Act to essentially ban internet gaming in the U.S. There will be an effort to try to pass that this fall, so a lot of attention is being paid to that legislation to make certain it does not get passed. At the end of the day, I don't think it'll get passed, but it is something that has to be paid attention to.
You raised a good point